So first off, there will be spoilers in this. I do recommend you watch the movie before I talk about it. It's much better if you're going blind, or at least just watching the film in general. But if you don't care, let's continue. So we're going to start off with the bad first, just to get that out of the way. So one of the biggest flaws about this film is that the acting is like kind of very mid, if not under par with what it should be at. I don't know what it is about horror films, but I feel like just acting in general is just not the best. You know, their jobs are to make a scary film, not like a good film. You know what I mean? What can you do? It's endurable, you know, it's not terrible. The writing as well is like, okay, it's not amazing, but you know, it still keeps you engaged, right? There's still a plausible story here. It gets the job done. I would say that there's only like about 4 kills in the entire film, all of which are just with characters that don't really matter. One of the first kills was a dog. The dog died off screen. Like, we don't even see the body of the dog like later in the film. It was just a kill. It drove the plot forward, I guess. The second kill was a little boy. M3gan rips off his ear and then like I think pushes him off a hill. Then he gets run over by a car, which was like out of the blue kind of, but it was like, you know, okay, sure. The third kill was the neighbor who owned the dog, and that was by far like the most absurd kill. The woman, how it is, it's like she hears her dog like whimpering in her shed, right? See, I was gearing up to see like a wounded animal, right? She goes into the shed and like she sees M3gan there, like imitating the voice of the dog. They fight a little bit, they struggle, but M3gan knocks the old lady down. Then M3gan gets like a nail gun and like shoots the lady's hand and like it sticks her to a wall. Then M3gan throws the gun to the side. For me, that was just kind of stupid, right? Just like use that nail gun, just shoot her. She'll bleed out eventually, right? You know? But no, instead M3gan grabs a pressure washer. This is where my jaw dropped, right? Because like M3gan all of a sudden knows how to use a pressure washer. Like, it makes sense in the film, like maybe she just downloaded how to use a pressure washer from the internet, which is more inefficient than like using a gun, right? But anyway, she activates a pressure washer, turns it on, blasts the lady. The thing is with that too is that pressure washers are not that powerful, at least the one that the lady had. If you're close enough to get at least hurt by the pressure washer, it'd be more closer to like indenting in your skin and maybe cutting you. It would have been survivable in the first place, right? The lady wasn't standing that close to the pressure washer anyway. So when M3gan turned on the machine, she got blasted to the wall. At that range, you don't get blown away. You get soaked and you might feel a little push, but you don't get vaulted across the room, right? Like, that's not how that works. I've had experience with pressure washers. They don't work like that. At that point, I was like, okay, M3gan's gonna finish her off with a nail gun, right? No, M3gan shoots one shot of the nail gun, tosses the gun aside, and then starts just spraying her with the water. And apparently that was the kill. I get that what they were going for, like pressure washers, like there are pressure washers out there that are crazy powerful and that, you know, would have brutally killed her. But no, the lady was sitting there screaming as some water got splashed in her face. You could have easily just got up and walked away, especially if you can just push off a hard surface and just walk away. M3gan already dropped the gun aside. This kill was just out of this world. The last 2 kills of the film were during a chase sequence, right? This chase sequence, while not being scary on its own, it was still a pretty good chase sequence. As the scene starts, M3gan starts dancing and catchy music starts playing. It was a fun chase sequence, right? Like, I was about to start dancing in the theater. Good. I was smiling during the chase sequence because I was just having a good time. And then M3gan just has a knife out of nowhere. They eventually enter like an elevator. M3gan kills like 2 dudes, causes a distraction, gets out, and then after she leaves, M3gan hops in like a Bugatti, right? And then drives off. The theater was dying of laughter, right? Like, if you just censored like some of the murder scenes a little bit better, it would have been like a comedy movie. I feel like the people behind this film just didn't take it seriously enough for it to be a horror movie. They just said, well, screw it. So overall, this movie was a bad horror movie. So I would say if you put the aspects of it not being a horror movie aside, the ending was kind of dope. It wasn't scary, it was just a robot battle. I thought it was a fun battle. I thought it was cool, right? As the final battle started, I feel like the filmmakers were like, oh crap, this is a horror movie, let's try to be a little scarier right now. And then they just made like the lighting a bit scarier and like, you know, the final like speech like a little scarier. They like splashed water onto M3gan and then she started like moving robotically and creepily and stuff like that. Then I feel like they just give up on that like 5 minutes later, right? Then at one point M3gan gets ripped in half and then they throw her across the room. And during that little sequence of her flying across the room, like, I started dying of laughter because of how obvious it was that it was just a rag doll that they tossed across the room. And I was half expecting M3gan to just come out of the rubble again and just be like, I'll be back. Luckily she didn't. I think she completely died, but then they did hint at a sequel, so you know, it's whatever. But overall, good movie. I did enjoy it. At least if you're not a horror nerd, maybe you'll be disappointed that it's not as scary as you hope it was. But if you're not really a horror person, and you just want to have a good time, watch M3gan. It's fun. Like and subscribe.